Hello, hello. Happy True Thursday. Excited to be back with you this week on a super important topic all about you and the truth about what you value about you and how that's showing up in your life and what to do about it. So let's dive right in. Waste no time on this topic. It's truly one of my favorites, and it's something that I really believe I am put on this earth to first shake up within you, make you feel super uncomfortable about, and help you return home to yourself in the truth of your value, in the truth of what not only you're here to do on this planet, but how to move through the world and not only command your value, but get to the root of what stands between you and your perception of value. The truth is that our relationship with our value and our worth is grossly outdated. And we all know it, right? We've all experienced on some level. You've experienced this, I've experienced this, where we're going in pursuit of what we want. We're going down this path, whether it's towards an achievement, whether it's towards, another accolade or just self-improvement in general. And there is this voice in the background. Not real sure which background, but the voice is there, and there's a doubt, there's a question. And what it does is it can trip us up and doubt or question our value when we need to remember it most. And so let's dive into the why. Why is it that you don't value yourself? What is it about your perception of you that you can't see, that others see, that clients see? Sometimes it can feel like you're in a glass box and everyone is seeing you in a certain way, but you don't see you in that way. This is what this conversation is about today. So far in our lives, we have looked at our value in a distorted way. We have looked at ourselves through a lens that is inaccurate. And that's the first thing that you need to realize and check yourself on. How is my perception of myself distorted? Incorrect? How is my perception of myself really different than how others see me? That's a great question to start this excavation process, if you will, this process of digging into what this root is. Instead of dealing with the symptoms on this topic, let's go into the root. Our perception of value in the past really meant abandoning our knowing and our trust and putting more value and worth in others, their expertise, their knowing, than ourselves. I know I've done it, but how often have you in your life wanted to bounce an idea off of someone, wanted to run something by someone, wanted to bring someone into your world to just touch base, get their thoughts on it? That's a great example and a very simple example that we all do, right? Of innocently running something by someone, but really what we're saying is we don't trust ourselves. Our thoughts and knowings are not enough. Therefore, let's bounce this off of someone to get that confidence, to get that feeling of ease, comfort, confirming externally that our ideas or our thoughts are worthy in some way. So what happens? Well, whenever we go down that path, if we're certain about something, but we just want to bounce something off of someone else, we become disconnected from ourselves. And done over time, which we are all guilty of, we become disconnected and lost and really forget the direction, the purpose, and even disconnect from like the greater plan we were up to because we're seeking that externally. So far, our basis of valuation has been based on validation. Your valuation of you is based on validation. And it is so past time that we flip this script. In my first career in real estate, one of the things that I was always on a mission to do was to really preserve agent commission. There's so many, agents out there that discount their rates to make a deal happen. I, of course, did that right early in my career. But as I went along, what was so interesting is the more that I protected my fees, as an example, the more that I protected my value by way of time, fees, and what I could offer the world, people were lining up, right? My clientele grew exponentially and value didn't come up. I had, when I first started, questions and questions, what are you going to do to adjust your commission to make this deal work? And as I went through my career, that didn't come up because I was sound in that value, but it took time, right? It took a process of getting confident in what I was doing, really understanding what I was doing and the damage I was causing if I was lowering my fees. Today in the Truth Teachers, it's no different. I intentionally went into the market as an upper tier product and service-based business because there is a message that I am here to share with you about value. And it's first this conversation today about this paradigm of switching it from this valuation based on external validation to really bringing it back inside. Part of what we do when we're pursuing external validation is we disconnect and abandon self, right? We go outside. When we do that, we disconnect and we forget our value, number one, but our expertise, our education, our experience, all of the amazing value that we have to bring to the world. What we do when we go external is we abandon that. And that's the first thing that you really need to look at is, where am I abandoning myself and putting more value on what other people say, what their suggestions are, whatever the case may be, because that is the telltale sign that is a leak right around your value to address. Worrying, judging, comparing is another way that we all question our value, right? It's another way that we discount our knowledge, our expertise, whatever the case may be, but it's a way that we discount that. The other huge way that we need to talk about today is self-sabotage. When we question ourselves, doubt ourselves, compare ourselves to others, that doubt long-term can turn into self-sabotage. And what you have to understand is the reason in which you question yourself, the reason in which you doubt yourself, thus questioning your value, has more to do with this deeply ingrained saboteur, and even deeper than that, this illusion of separation, that I'm separate from you, you're separate from me, there's something I know that you don't know, or vice versa. That is really up for us to flip the paradigm on. Flipping this paradigm, going from basing my worth off of what you think of me and flipping it to what I think of myself, is truly the first and last step. I could sit here today and give you 10 actionable items of how to move from worry to worthiness. But that's not the truth. The truth is that you need to return home to you and ask yourself, what do you think about you? Do you like you? Are you in love with you? Do you value you? How are you moving through the world not valuing yourself? What are you doing every day that questions your value? What are you doing every day to reinforce your doubt of your value? Taking it into the business, how are you behaving with clients that is exuding you doubt your worth? What do you think that sends to the clients? What message do you think that sends to your clients? If you're doubting yourself, how capable do they think you are? And it's your duty to serve them, right? It's your duty to be that place of excellence, to give them a higher standard of what they deserve in the client experience and helping them get to the result they're after. So take a look at, where are you living in this conflict? Because really the first and last step is to bring it home. Once you bring it home, then there are actions all day long and strategies that you can deploy, which I've said over and over again. But the first step is, see how you've abandoned yourself. See how you have valued yourself based on their validation instead of your own. And that's the day the game changes. That's the day that you get to make a new choice. If you're willing to see that you've moved through the world valuing their validation more than your own valuation of you, that's when you get to choose who you're going to be going forward. Are you going to be that light that you've been here to be, that you've been put on this planet to be? Are you going to be that mover and shaker of change and impact and influence? Are you going to choose to move through the world in confidence? Are you going to choose to create the life that's available to you, that you can create to any extent that you desire? Those are all the choices that you get to make. But first, going to the root of your value is so important, because if you don't look at that, it's going to resurface time and time again. You're going to get into a new business venture. You're going to start a new business. You're going to pursue a new career. You're going to get into that new relationship. And you're going to be the same. Wherever you are, there you are. And so we must come home to ourselves first and see that this conversation on value is more about that external validation than it has been about our own validation of self. And when you can do that, when you can start to see that that relationship between you and you has been the one that's been abdicated, then you can start moving through the world with the tools, strategies, stepping into confidence, stepping into new choice, by first seeing that the old paradigm is expired. The old way of doubting yourself, questioning your value, pricing your programs and services because the market will accept that versus what really fuels you, what you know your value is to deliver in the world, that day is over. And it's time to return home to see, yes, I am willing to bring awareness to the fact that I've been moving through the world in doubt, seeking external validation, and have abandoned myself in pursuit of their validation. If you're willing to see that, just that awareness alone is going to allow you to shift into a new space of expansion where you can start to make conscious choices of confidence, of who you're going to be in the world, what you're here to change and to impact. Instead of going down the road of not valuing yourself and having symptoms like self-sabotage or other patterns that can arise when we don't value ourselves, then we put ourselves in situations that aren't of service to us or who we're here to serve. So the first step for you is to ask yourself, have I valued myself based on their validation? Can I bring awareness to where I've been moving through the world in doubt, not valuing what I have, who I am, my skills, talents, and expertise? Can I have that honest conversation and look in the mirror? And where am I showing up in conflict? Where am I showing up where I want something, but in the next breath, I'm doubting myself, or there's a question of value? So I do things externally to fill up that void. Where can you find this? And I promise you, if you're willing to look yourself in the mirror and first say, I don't value myself, that awareness allows an expansion for you to begin truly valuing yourself and to get in resonance with your true value and really step into everything that you're supposed to do. So if you're willing to take a hard look at this, I promise you the upside is tremendous, so that you can start valuing yourself today and not tomorrow. This is not a long process you have to go through. It's a simple question. It's a simple check myself. I want to see the truth and be free. That's the way out. The way out is through, right? So check yourself, ask this question, and see if you can uncover that you don't value yourself in what areas. And then that true valuation you can bring home, right? You can bring within and start appreciating who you are, your knowledge, your expertise, and what you're here to do. I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place.